Ooh, it's a little loud. Where you going, Caleb? Okay. You do that, sir. All right. Shalom, everyone. Wow. Let me try that again. That was late and disappointing. Shalom, everyone.
Hello.
No.
Shalom, Moreh.
Y'all almost done. We got one more week of this. Okay. Y'all will be okay. Okay. Shalom. All right. You ever heard the expression, don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch? Yeah. Well, I guess I did that. I did it. I counted all my chickens. And so what I said last week we were going to do, we're not doing. It's okay. It's all right. You're still going to get you a good lesson. Remember, I said it was going to be level 3 and 4. No, it's just 3. It's 3. But you'll be okay. I believe so. So we still on deep-rooted issues, right? What was last week? What we talk about? The now, right? Well, now we're talking about feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. But you got to make sure that you don't add to your closet with these feelings and emotions. Okay. Warning, G. Hey, look. You still get it. He said, how I gangster. I tell you about these PCs, boy. I want to take this time to explain that this lesson and the lessons thereafter are not based on any one individual, whether in this assembly, locally, or abroad. These lessons were not developed by myself alone. Yes, the Father has something, if not all, to do with them. If these lessons hit certain points that you feel or believe have something to do with you, all praise to the Father. Take that knowledge and apply it to the solution to your life. Do not take anything personal and miss the message that is being given to help solidify your salvation. Hopefully none of these other slides are going to be like that. We should just see. And we got some rules. Please keep your mic muted except when asking or answering a question. There is a feature on Zoom in the meeting room where you can raise your hand if you have a question. Also, here in the assembly, if you have a question, raise your hand and speak into the mic for everyone to hear. All questions must be on the topic. You have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. These rules are due to time and the recordings of the lessons. These are live teachings. We must give the Moreh enough time to complete the lesson. This will be mixed with discussions to help build one another. Please do not abuse the time. Message for today: can't save anyone until you learn how to save yourself. You know, the whole speck in your brother's eye when you get the log. Yeah. Okay. What does it mean to have miscommunication? We got some key people out today. Let's see somebody going to fill that void. Now, he just got up like he didn't want to be a part of the discussion. Okay. Miscommunication for real. Nobody knows what miscommunication is or means or. All right. Wow. Yakaria, thank you.
Shalom. I was gonna say not understanding one another, what someone is saying,
Okay.
or a misunderstanding.
It could be something like that. Anybody else? Harvard? No? Okay. Go ahead.
Shalom, Moreh.
Shalom.
I'm going to say a miscommunication can be, let's say if two individuals have a goal, right? And one of the parties is not, how can I put it in? I'm trying to find the words exactly. Okay, you got two individuals and you know there's a common goal that we're trying to reach. Okay, for instance, a football team. miscommunication. You know what the play is,
Mhm.
but however, one or two of the three players don't follow the rules as far
Yeah,
as
yeah.
carrying out. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right,
That's
right.
the
They
best
didn't
way
read
I
that
can put it.
rule book.
Right,
I got it.
right,
Mhm.
right.
All right. Who's up there? Uh-oh, okay. Well, we got one person out. Okay, go ahead, Google.
Sloan.
Sloan.
All right. Miscommunication is a failure of communicating clearly intended message or idea.
Something like that. Sienna. Sienna?
I'm sorry, I was having an issue with my phone. Shalom, family. So I will give a quick example. So for me, when I speak to people sometime, I can not realize that I'm not communicating as effectively as I could. So I might be saying one thing, but the person hears it differently.
Okay, misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. All right. Sound familiar? Yeah, failure to communicate adequately. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what are the effects of miscommunication? What can happen, or better yet to say, what can happen as a result? We gotta hear. Oh, go ahead. The front, my bad. Start your time.
All right. So, of course, people can be angry, people can be hurt, relationships can be damaged.
Goodness.
Somebody could follow the instructions incorrectly and end up hurting themselves. Yeah, just some brief examples.
Are you okay?
I get
Do
misunderstood
you
a lot.
need
so
to pray after this? I mean, you gave.
I understand this pretty
He read the book. Okay. Yakaria. Right.
I was gonna say, assumptions. You can assume
Mm.
things and function incorrectly,
Oh boy.
think incorrectly.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going down the right path. All right. We save a little bit of time here. Oh. Go ahead. No. Let's let him go first. Go ahead, Rabbi.
Nope, we good. Go ahead.
He yields, is what he said. Poor communication can cause you and others to rush, feel stressed, overworked, and lack a sense of humor because of lack of communication. You may also feel anxious, insecure, and lonely. Challenges with communication can make it difficult to maintain relationships or leave you feeling uncertain about where you stand in a relationship. Ineffective communication can lead to many misunderstandings or disagreements as well. Now, this can include making mistakes or completing tasks incorrectly, having your feelings hurt, causing arguments, or distancing yourself from others. Yeah, you felt that one, huh? Okay. This can all lead to assumptions. Yeah, knock it out the park. So what are assumptions? Huh? You got kind of vocal back there. Man, this gonna be a good lesson. It's hitting all kind of stuff today. Ooh wee. Y'all started off a little slow. Y'all coming on strong. I like it. Go ahead, Yakari.
I would say thinking things or viewing things that no one ever said or told you,
Ooh,
not getting confirmation about them.
okay. Is it go ahead. I'll get him last.
Maybe preconceived notions.
Preconceived notions.
Oh, that's just what I was thinking.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. You assuming. Okay. Anybody else before I let the Rabbi go? It's pretty much covered. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You said.
Something that is accepted as true or is certain to happen without proof.
Without proof. Yeah, the assumption. Yeah. No. Let's look at what's highlighted. All right, a taking to or upon oneself, right? The assumption of a new position. Now, this can include arrogance and pretension, and assuming that something is true. A fact or statement as a proposition, an axiom, postulate, or notion taken for granted. Yeah, they love putting that stuff in there, right? Now, an axiom, postulate, or assumption is a statement that is taken to be true to serve as a premise or starting point for further reasoning and arguments. In other words, you can make the assumption the focal point of your reasoning or argument without any evidence of the assumption being true. You got something to say? Yeah.
Just because it's actually on the slide here, the assumption of the Virgin Mary, it's actually kind of an example of that, because in the Catholic Church, it's assumed that Mary went to heaven whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that with no proof, no biblical, anything like that, they say
That
you're
is-
not a Christian and you're in heresy and all kinds of other stuff, but there's no proof of that anywhere. So just an example.
Okay, I can dig it. Dig it. Now, that can also lead to control, like you're saying, because you don't believe a certain way. Well, now I want to control the conversation. That's to exercise restraining or directing influence over it. Now, from control, we see you have some similarities to that, control or authority, which you were just talking about, command, dominion, jurisdiction, power, and sway. With all these words mean the right to govern or rule or determine. Now, control stresses the power to direct and restrain. And that's where you get rule from, right? To exert control, direction, or influence on the passions that rule our minds, something we should learn to control. Now, for the context of this lesson, we're going to talk about, what it means to rule, to have power over as it relates to control. Okay. Oh boy, emotions. What would trigger your emotions? We talked about this about 3 or 4 lessons ago. Go ahead.
An experience.
Inexperience?
No, in
Oh,
experience.
okay. If you have an experience, I got you. All right. You have some? Yeah, go ahead.
Could be trauma.
Could be trauma. Yeah. Is that Natalia? Or Lamadyahu? Yeah.
Shalom, shalom, Moreh. That's what I was going to say. Trauma,
Mhm.
any traumatic experience that might bring back a memory of nostalgia or anything like that, that can bring up emotions, whether good or bad.
Okay. Go ahead.
The question just says what would trigger your emotions, but doesn't necessarily mean it's always negative. Like I was just telling him, you could give me a good plate of food and I'm happy. You could, I said candy bar, but whatever. Or you could just something good could happen, or even just a more of emotion that's like neutral, something sad. It doesn't always have to be anger or bad.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be negative. No. Just like we discussed how nostalgia doesn't have to be negative, right? But for the context of this lesson, we're going to kind of go negative. But all right. Yeah, go ahead. Yahuah said.
Yeah. A word, a deed, a taste or smell, something minute like that could trigger an emotion.
Okay. Yeah. I got you this time. Well, let's start with the definition, right? So emotion as a noun is the affective aspect of consciousness. It's a feeling. This is what triggers your emotions, okay? It's your feeling, the state of feeling, a conscious mental reaction as anger or fear. Now, this can be subjectively experienced, okay, as a strong feeling usually directed towards a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body, okay? Emotions are mental states brought on by neurophysiological changes, variously associated with thoughts, feelings, behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure. So again, it doesn't always have to be negative, okay? Emotions are reactions to stimuli, but feelings are what we experience as a result of emotions, okay? we're going a little bit deeper than what we usually talk about emotions. An emotion is normally quite short-lived, but intense. Emotions are also likely to have a definite and identifiable cause. Feelings are influenced by our perception of the situation, which is why the same emotion can trigger different feelings among people experiencing it. All right. So to understand the difference between feeling and emotion, the neuroscientist Antonio Damasio distinguishes between emotions and feelings. He says that emotions are mental images, for example, representing either internal or external states of reality, and the bodily changes accompanying them, whereas feelings are the perception of bodily changes. Okay? In other words, emotions contain a subjective element and a third-person observable element, whereas feelings are subjective and private. Just got the answer to your dream. Just put that. In general uses, the terms emotion and feelings are used as synonyms or interchangeable, but actually they are not. The feeling is a conscious experience created after the physical sensation or emotional experience, whereas emotions are felt through emotional experience. They are manifested in the unconscious mind and can be associated with your thoughts, desires, and actions. So what you think, what you want, and what you do make up your emotions. Okay? Simply put, your feelings trigger your emotions. It doesn't matter if those emotions are happy, sad, angry, or what have you. They trigger how you feel about something or someone. All right? Well, with all that being said, it's time to get out your feelings. Okay? And I say that because this is why you start to do certain things that get you caught up in your feelings about something, right? Now, what are some of those things? Can anyone give me an example? If you're in your feelings, what's something that you might do? Or might, I don't want to say, well, yeah, okay. Might do or say, just keep it clean. You know, we won't get kicked off of YouTube. Okay. You got, look at one. Who, you? Oh, all right, here we go.
You know, it depends on what I'm feeling, but sometimes if I'm like melancholy, I'll feel like I'll listen to music that matches my mood instead of trying to uplift the mood. If I am trying to get out of the mood, I might do something like bake or make jewelry or something to get my mind off of it. So it's either I'm going deeper into that emotion or I'm trying to run away from
it. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, same thing. You know, you have an emotion that comes over you, a feeling that comes over you because you see a picture. Like in my instance, I might view a picture of my father, you know, and emotion might want to rise up. I say, nope, wait a minute. And my feelings start rising up. I said, wait a minute, nope, I don't want to go down that road. And I just set that to the side. That's not where I want to go right now. So that's.
See, we had two contrasting, right? One happy, one sad. See how they go? It doesn't always have to be the same. Eukaria?
Hello, I was gonna say sometimes I know I separate myself. Just try to gain control. I might listen to music or read a scripture, or sometimes just sit in silence so I can properly process what's going on and make sure I practice self-control or patience.
Wasn't that one of the similarities? To distance yourself from the situation or other people when you get caught up in your feelings. Anyone else? Y'all ain't having nostalgia, is you? Yeah, you got some trauma going on? Okay. All right. Now, feeling as defined as a verb, okay? Look at highlighted here. To have one's sensibilities markedly or clearly affected by something, something happened that made you feel a certain way, all right? Now look at this one right here. To believe or think, say what you really feel. Now, y'all know how I feel about my verb transitives now. This is a verb intransitive, meaning that there may not be a direct object that triggers that what you're believing or what you're thinking, all right? I'll give you an example just in case you need one. Sometimes you can get so deep in what you think or believe, you don't need any triggers. Here's my example. Aisha and I were talking about cybersecurity and certifications. You want to know what my response was? I need to get the money together so I can build the sukkah for Sukkot. That's what I was thinking about. Has nothing to do with cybersecurity or encryption or anything. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to have a trigger to think about something or to believe anything, okay? But for the sake of this, we are going to talk about what some of those triggers are, okay? To have a marked sentiment or opinion, feel strongly about it, okay? I just wanted to throw that in there to let you know, yes, we're going to talk about certain triggers, but you don't necessarily need to have something to force you to think or believe a certain way, okay? I don't want to make it just one-sided. All right. Your feelings do matter, but at what cost? So again, what are feelings? The English noun feelings may generally refer to any degree of subjectivity in perception or sensation. However, feelings often refer to an individual's sense of well-being, perhaps wholeness, safety, or being loved. Feelings have a somatic field extending from the individual and spiritual to the social and political. The word feeling may refer to any of a number of psychological characteristics of experience, or even to reflect the entire inner life of the individual. As self-contained phenomenal experiences evoked by sensations and perceptions, feelings can strongly influence the character of a person's subjective reality. That's highlighted for a reason. I'll read it again. Feelings can strongly influence the character of a person's subjective reality. Just like we've been saying about all the rest of these things, if you keep letting this stuff go unchecked, it can change you, okay? Feelings can sometimes harbor bias or otherwise distort, sorry, my nose itching. Veridical perception, which perception that coincides with reality, in particular through projection and wishful thinking, which is what we will talk about next week, among many other such effects. So your feelings and the subjectiveness of them can be projected on to others, okay? So not only are you changing yourself because you're not getting a hold of it, that can go off into somebody else, okay? Proverbs 12:16, the vexation, which is an emotion of anger, a strong emotional feeling that is oriented towards some real or supposed grievance of a fool is known at once, but the prudent ignores an insult, and an insult is a state of dishonor. And when it comes to a fool, you have the H191. Anybody want to give it a shot? Is Evil. All right. It means to be perverse, turned away from what is right or good, corrupt, improper, incorrect, wrong-headed, cranky, perverted, and to the contrary. All those just for being a fool, huh? All right. It also represents a foolish person, one who lacks good judgment. Now, I didn't forget about prudent, all right? So this is Proverbs 12:23. Prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims folly. Now, for prudent, we have the Hebrews 61:75 and Arum, okay? It's crafty, skillful, or clever in the positive context. Now, in the negative context, okay, it's pertaining to being tricky and cunning with a focus on evil treachery. That's nobody in here, right? And you ain't trying to be treacherous with nobody, are you? Okay, it's a lot of. All right, now for folly, we have the H200. Anybody want to give that one a try? There you go, evaluate. All right. It represents foolishness or folly, which is devoid of wisdom and understanding, with a focus on the evil behaviors which occur in this state. We got a lot of evilness going on right now. This is the first slide dealing with feelings, and already you can see that staying in your feelings can have you become a fool who can be considered evil and someone who lacks good judgment. Is this how you want to be described on Judgment Day? I didn't get a lot of answers. People thinking about it. Remember what I said in the warning. Do not take anything personal and miss the message that's being given to help solidify your salvation. So once again, when you lead with emotions or your feelings, you take that spiritual aspect of the message out of the equation. Okay? Don't get so offended by stuff. Right? What becomes of a fool? Proverbs 14:33. Wisdom rests in the heart or mind of a man of understanding, but it makes itself known even in the midst of fools. Now, in the heart, we know is equals to mind. Of the intelligent man, wisdom reposes or is at rest. But in the mind or in the inward part of fools, it makes itself known or is made known. Now, you got to remember the heart is the seat of your thoughts and emotions. When it goes unchecked and becomes foolish, it doesn't carry any wisdom. Your inner man won't match the outer man, and that will get exposed the longer you try to ignore it. And this is, hey, look, you can speak it all you want to, but it's been written down now. Okay. Oh, no. Wow. Okay. That brings me to a good point. I want y'all to focus on the things that are underlined. Okay. There's a theme going on here. I want to see if y'all catch it. Okay. Proverbs 15:13-15. A glad heart makes a cheerful face, but by sorrow of heart, the ruach is crushed. The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feed on folly. That is feeding off bad judgment. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but the cheerful of heart has a continual feast. Now, we've defined afflicted before, but let's put it in this context, okay? It's H6041, it's ani, all right? But here it means depressed in mind or circumstances, okay? With a sense of a person who has been the victim of some pain, injury, or harm, either physically or mentally, often associated with recurring treatment or events. So now you see how the whole timeline, these lessons are starting to come back around 360, right? You have your tragedy, you have your trauma and nostalgia. All of that is just a lot of pain and stuff that's all being compressed into your mind and it's not being let out. So therefore, when it finally does get a way out, it's going to come out harsh. And you can have other people in the way of that. You can be full of assumptions and misunderstandings, and it may not be all that great before you even get to what the assumption was. All right, so for understanding, we have the H995. It's being, it's a prime root to separate mentally or distinguish. So this is what happens when you do, or I should say, when you are able to keep those emotions in check. You're able to distinguish from what's real and what's not, and what you need to say and what you shouldn't say, and what you need to do and what you shouldn't do, right? Especially in this walk when it comes to other people, and you're supposed to be mishpachah, right? You can't handle each other like you would in the world. You have to have some separation. And similarly, we see it means to understand, see, pay attention, consider, teach, and examine. Now, this is all with the sense of to be knowing and able to comprehend meaning. That meaning gets lost when you got hate in your heart, all right? Last week, we talked about the spiritual food that you need to maintain being set apart. Y'all remember that? Yeah, okay. Here we can see the complete opposite. Just like with bad food you eat in real life, you can starve yourself of the beneficial nutrients you need to grow and be healthy. It's the same thing spiritually. Acting on impulse or letting your feelings ignite your emotions in a negative way can be harmful. When your feelings go unchecked, you grow your hunger for negativity, craftiness in the negative sense, and other evil-like behaviors. That's evil. Yeah, thou shalt not gossip about me. Proverbs 29:11. A fool gives full vent to his ruach. Now, this is anger that is directed at a real or supposed grievance. You see, you made an assumption and you got all vexed in your ruach now. But a wise man, this is the H2450. Anybody get that a try? Oh, come on. Skillful, clever, experienced, wise man with a sense of a trusted guide or advisor. someone that people can count on when they need help in this walk. That's everybody here. We can count on each other, right? You can count. Oh man. Wow. I'll read it. Read the verse again. Maybe it's seeking a little bit. A fool gives full vent to his ruah, but a wise man holds it back, quietly holds it back. Okay. You got to learn how to keep your mouth shut for some things, Some things just don't need to be said. Proverbs 10, 8 and 9. Though wise, now this is the same Hebrew word that we just used, but now we're speaking on your character. So the wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool, this is the fool's speech, right? Are depicted as the cause of the fool's trouble. So a babbling fool will come to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. You see that word's underlined, right? I'm just telling y'all to keep note of that, right? Okay. You get the thing? Oh my good, hallelujah! Somebody get that thing. You can speak all the little smooth stuff, boy, but it's gonna come back on you. We're gonna figure out that something ain't right with you. Huh? You can't hide it for long. A wise person is teachable, willing to become wiser, but a fool is evil, right? A hardened fool won't stop talking long enough to learn anything. See, it's 5 seconds too long. 5 seconds too long. An honest person is secure in his walk and his conduct, but a person whose paths are crooked or twisted, whose conduct is wicked, in contrast with a person of integrity, eventually will be discovered for what he truly is. Yeah, like I said before, there's a theme that's being developed throughout this lesson. Yeah, okay. I think we might get done a little early. I expected more participation, but some people ain't here. It's all good. It's all good. It don't necessarily need it to be time as long as the message is there. Don't allow hate to rule you. Proverbs 26, 24 to 26. Whoever hates disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit in his heart. When he speaks graciously, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred be covered with deception, his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Huh? That's not one of the words though, so I'm gonna let it go. And plus he's not here to correct it. So I mean, I don't know why y'all got I detect some hate. Whoever hates, I'm detecting it right now, okay? Messing up my character, right? Okay. So the H 8130. All right, guys, stay out my feelings, all right? Don't allow hate to rule. See, I done messed up already. It's a need, right? It's a prime root to hate, being an enemy, to be unloved, okay? Or passive as someone unloved or shunned. Okay, so it's more than just hate. Okay, you got a vendetta against this person right here. Okay. A malicious person plans deceit, but seeks to disguise it by his smooth talk. This describes a dishonest and deceitful person who disguises evil intentions with gracious speech. I don't want to hear it. However, the person's wickedness will eventually be exposed. Ultimately, the sins of the deceitful person will lead to destruction, like someone who falls into their own pit. Okay. Psalm 28 and 3. Do not drag me off with the wicked. Now, drag here is the H4900. It's masak. It's a prying root, means to seize or to carry off. Now, y'all know what the wicked is, right? A wicked person is someone who is characterized by wickedness or unrighteousness. So it says, do not drag me off with the wicked, with the workers of evil, who speak peace with their neighbors while evil is in their hearts. So again, trying to cover the outer man with the inner man, it won't work for long. You will be exposed. Okay. Now, question, do you want to be associated with the wicked and suffer the injustice of being punished with them? No, I hear like 2 or 3 no's. Okay. Now, David, whatever you want to call him, asked if the father would show favor towards him as he cried for mercy and help, if the father would not drag him off with the hypocritical sinners, and if the father would justly punish the wicked. Can you ask for these things with hate in your heart for your brother or sister? I mean, you can ask for it. It will be granted. No. When you try to do this with hatred in your heart, you're trying to do the Father's work for him. Let him handle that. It's not a job for you. Oh, okay. All right. He said you move too slow. Well, look, do not drag me off with the wicked. Now you keep talking like that, you know. You're gonna hog tie you. All right. Understanding feelings biblically. No, lamb tie you? What? Okay, who's that? Yeah, who can say it?
Hey, shalom, shalom, Moreh. So let's just say someone doesn't have any hatred in their heart, but they have more of a gladness, and like the gladness is that they're knowing that the wicked is going to get with it. Like, not a hatred, it's more like I'm glad, but they about to get what they about to get. I'm ecstatic for it. You know, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. So did you update that iPhone? Because that's all we heard. We didn't hear
Oh,
you.
you can't hear me? Okay. What about now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, so I had the air on. My bad. You hear me now?
Yes.
Did this cut into my time? Caleb, this don't cut into my time. You couldn't hear me. Restart my time period. All right. So basically is that someone's really ecstatic about, basically they're ecstatic that the wicked are going to get what they're going to get. Like, I can't wait for them to get what they're going to get. They're not angry, but they have this overjoyed period, you know, of for like the wicked getting what they're going to do.
Overjoyed of someone else's demise. Is that what you're saying?
There we go. Thank you. I couldn't get it out.
You don't think that that's hate in your heart for somebody? You happy that somebody has a demise coming? That's disguising himself with his lips, which harbors deceit in his heart. It's still a little bit of hate there, man. You're not supposed to feel like that about your brother or sister at all. The only reason why David was able to ask for that was because he did something right. If there's nothing right in your heart, you can't ask for that. Who got a hand up? Sienna? Go ahead.
Oh gosh, I got this new phone and can't work it. Nope, you answered it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you get what I was saying? Who said? Man, he just went quiet.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh,
I got
you. To say, I thought you was praying on it. I was.
Nah, I'm good. I was just asking, you know, just as a generalized question, because, you know, some people will say I don't have any hate, but they'll show that type of character. So, you know, some people may not know that that's something that is like that's a no-no. You can't be doing that. So it was just more so just bringing it out for edification purposes.
It's almost like we talked about last week about cursing somebody, right? It's still the same premise. You cursing bad on somebody. You ain't supposed to be doing that, because that can come back on you. You acting like you got it all together trying to get somebody else in trouble. You do a 360 and come right back on you. All right. For those who didn't know. Right. Oh, not the belly swelling. Oh, goodness. All right. Understanding feelings biblically. All right. Jeremiah 17, 9 and 10. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand? Now, Yahuah search, this is to examine and analyze, to consider in detail and subject to an analysis in order to discover essential features or meaning. That's what he does. He does all that. All right. So Yahuah search the heart and test. This is put to the test in order to ascertain the nature of something, including imperfections, faults, or other qualities. So test the mind to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. See, we only go skin deep when we try to get to the heart of somebody. Father go all up in through there, in and out. Right? Yeah, no. We want to get somebody a personality test. That ain't gonna work. If you operate with a heart that is filled with damaging emotions, hurtful feelings, that's what you might get in return. I say might because not everyone operates the same, but you may come across someone that will handle you the same way you're handling them. Remember the heart. Yeah, no, it's not righteous at all. But then again, who started the unrighteousness? Was it you or them? Right?
We're not being right.
Listen, you assuming now. You assuming. You're trying to control the conversation. Okay. Remember, the heart and the mind go together. See, I told you he want to rule. See this? See how that goes out of that line. Remember, the heart and the mind go together. If you're not right in one, you won't be right in the other. So this is referring to human thoughts and feelings. It represents a person's inner life, the will, the thoughts, motivations, and emotions. In the context of what we just read, the heart is so deceitful that Jeremiah wondered who could even understand it. The Father answered by informing Jeremiah that he can search the heart and examine the mind. The Father and the Father alone is the only one that knows you inside and out. That's why I've been saying in all these other lessons, you can fool us with the outer man, but eventually we're gonna get down to that inner man because the Father's gonna pull it on out. The smooth talk. Yeah, Father saying, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know it. I know you love it. 2 Corinthians 10:3-4. For though we walk in the flesh, which is the outer man, we are not waging war according to the flesh. So you can't use earthly devices to fight your battles. Okay? You can try. Now, understand, this is in the walk, right? Are you supposed to even try to use something like that? Verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. When I ask, are you supposed to use these devices? I'm talking about things that are outside the Father. You're not supposed to do that, right? All right. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of Elohim and take every thought captive to obey Mashiach, being ready to punish every disobedience when your obedience is complete. Now, basically saying rely on the Father and his word. Use the elders and your brothers and sisters who are on their journey of spiritual maturity as a guide when you feel as though you're in trouble. Using the same devices of the world won't help. It's not a question somebody asked last week on YouTube. Where do you go when you're just starting out and you're just trying to build your foundation? You're supposed to use your resources, not of the world, but the stuff that the Father gave you. Shadow work? What's shadow work, Navy man? I don't. We ain't all in from the military. I don't know. It's shadow work. Oh man, it's a new doctrine born every minute, ain't it? Actually, this is the last slide. When dealing with each other, wisdom in dealing with each other. All right, Sirach 31:15. Judge your neighbor's feelings by your own, and in every matter be thoughtful. All right, this is talking about, don't be looking down on other people, but, this shows the importance of wisdom and wise counsel as a valuable asset that surpasses material wealth. Remember to prioritize ethical decision-making and moral discernment over the accumulation of what we think are riches, okay? Making sure to seek the Father's guidance and making choices that reflect a heart of wisdom. You are not better than me, and vice versa, because the Father can humble you very quick. Whatever you think you got going on, he can show you you don't. So if you're trying to put this same stuff on somebody else and you ain't checked yourself, Father can show you that. I may not be able to show you that because, again, I'm only looking on the outside. But what did Father do? He looks on the inside and the outside. All right. Matthew 7:1-6, judging others. Judge not that you be not judged. We all know this, right? For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when there is the log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the log out your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Same thing we've been talking about for these past couple of slides, right? Do not give dogs what is set apart, and do not throw your pearls before, this says pigs, it says, the King Jimmy says swine, right? Lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. I ain't really have to explain this. I know we all know it, but this passage does not teach that judgments should never be made, right? Matthew 7:5 does speak of removing the speck from your brother's eye. But Mashiach's point was that a person should not be habitually critical or accusatory of other people and the things they supposedly do wrong when you yourself have issues of your own. Do not be a hypocrite and exclude yourself in the conversation. If you're not ready for that conversation to include yourself, be careful and be prudent when talking about other people. You can be just as wrong as the people you make out to be wrong. All right. All right. I had a lot more, but that's going to be for next week. Okay. That's going to be the culmination of these lessons. But for right now, any questions or comments pertaining to the lesson? How gracious of me. You get on out of here. Anyway, you got a question? Oh, you got a comment? Okay, go ahead.
So
He's just thinking.
what I saw in the lesson was learning emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, emotional management, self-awareness, because a person who's self-aware is self-aware of how their emotions and how they react is going to affect the environment. A person who's self-conscious worries about how the environment is going to affect them.
That is true. Hallelujah. Anyone else? All right. If our hearts and minds are clear, stand includes.
Baruch atah Yahuah Eloheinu melech haolam. Father, we thank you for the word that was given today. We ask, Father, that you help us to be in check with our emotions and feelings as we go throughout the next week, Father. Test us as we go. Help us to see ourselves for the way you see us, that we may be in check. We thank you for the Moreh that's given the word, and we thank you for the food that we're about to receive. And we ask, Father, that you bless everyone who have to travel on the highways and byways. Let the Melachims be encamped around their vehicles as they go home in safety. We thank you, Father, for your love and commitment towards us. And we give you all esteem, honor, and praise in the name of Yahushua Mashiach and the power of his blood. Amen.
Amen.